What's up everyone, my name's Al from GamesRib, and today we're going to be taking a look at Quake 2, aka this absolute gem of a title, but this time on the Dreamcast. Now this one has been around for quite some time now, this port. It really has been around for a while, but I thought I should check it out. So this isn't the Bleem, this is the actual port. Now it doesn't come without its faults. Unfortunately there are some pretty big ones. Let's take a look. Yep, so probably you can tell right off the bat, there is no sound with this port. Now this obviously massively affects the awesomeness of this port, but as you can see, it does run pretty damn well. Yes, I did try to have a look at the settings, see, hold on, is it enabled? Is there something missing here? No. Unfortunately, Bero's port, aka Bero, the guy who, or the developer, who did do this all the way back 20 years ago, we're talking 2002, I'm now just looking at this, and yes, it doesn't have any sound. Now that is a pretty big flaw with a game like this, because let's face it, this game, all games really need sound, and especially a heavy metal industrial sounding shooter like Quake 2. Without the music, it just doesn't sound quite right, correct? Now, obviously this is the intro here, where you kind of be listening to a bit of a story, etc. Yes, that is also not here as well. But as you can see, visually it actually looks pretty good. But, yes, no sound. So yeah, now obviously this was clearly the trade-off with this port to get it running as well as it does, is the sound wasn't part of the build. Because if the sound was part of the build, at this point, it wouldn't have quite worked to the way we're seeing it. The other thing you might have already noticed is there's actually some screen tearing. Screen tearing actually happens a fair amount here. Like when you're moving back and forwards, it does happen. I'll be surprised if you don't notice it straight off the bat. The other thing is the textures look a bit strange. You just saw the window or the glass effects there. They didn't quite look right, did they? But, I can't really take or poke too much fun at this at the end of the day, because this was never a completed port anyway, but yes, I think it looks good, and I actually think it plays quite smoothly. But yes, again, no sound. The other thing is the actual controls feel really, really good. They're solid. They actually just kind of work. Yes, it would be better with a keyboard and mouse. Absolutely, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that would have happened. But at this point, this was just using the Dreamcast joypad, or the controller, I should say, and this is what we got. Yes, I actually think it doesn't run too bad. But yes, also there is some slowdown every now and again. But again, can we really poke fun at this, being that it wasn't actually completed? Now if you take a look at the actual Bleem version right here, this is the one I showed off before, this actually runs pretty damn well, and yes, has sound as well. So is there a real trade-off here? Do we go for the Bleem route, aka the PS1 version of Quake 2, or do we look at the Dreamcast port, aka the PC version running on the Dreamcast? You can see that clearly the Dreamcast version is better than the Bleem port. Don't get me wrong, the Bleem port looks alright and plays pretty well and has sound, but this version does look better. Although it does feel like the textures and lighting just seem that little bit too high for me. Now, do I think this will ever be completed by any developers? I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't actually surprise me if someone like Ian Michael would actually go and do a version of Quake 2 for the Dreamcast. It wouldn't surprise me at all, being that it worked on his rad Quake engine for, Quake 1, which is clearly a real decent port of Quake 1 onto the Sega Dreamcast, as you can see right now. Yeah, this is rad Quake working on the Sega Dreamcast, and it looks absolutely fantastic. There's real solid sound effects. It's got that original Quake look. It's not trying to be a polished version, aka better graphically. It's retaining that classic style, and that is rad Quake working on the Sega Dreamcast, and as you can see, it's quite stunning. Anyway, we're talking about Quake 2. I've gone off track again. But yes, like I said, it really wouldn't surprise me if he did go and do this at some point, because at the end of the day, Quake 2 seems to be the missing link that we don't have on the Sega Dreamcast as of yet. And it is a big hole missing. We've got Quake 1, we've got Quake 3, but we don't have a working version of Quake 2, like I said, as of yet. Hey, we might get it if we do. I think it will be absolutely fantastic. I'm sure he could work his magic. The thing is, obviously, he's got so much on that, hey, it probably just hasn't happened quite yet. But as you can tell, a fantastic looking title, nonetheless, working on the Sega Dreamcast, and something that got done 20 years ago. So we've also got to remember, a lot has changed in those 20 years, and it's probably now very much possible. Now what I'll do here is I'm going to leave you with a quick look at Quake 2 Doom, aka Quake 2 assets working in Doom, a little review I did a while ago. Here's a few snippets just so you can see exactly what it's like. Either way, I hope you've liked this nice little look at Quake 2 working on the Sega Dreamcast. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and please do subscribe. Please also do subscribe on Twitch. That's right, Games Re-Up on Twitch. The link is in the box below. And we also have Games Re-Up Live, where we upload those streams as well on YouTube. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all soon. The Doom HUD, where you can see his face, etc. But look, we've got the Quake 2 weaponry. We've got the Quake 2 sounds. We've even got some of the animations on the weapons as well. This is a great start. One thing I don't massively like though is the fact that the music is still the Doom music. I wish they had kind of gone for and done the actual Quake 2 soundtrack. I think that would have just kind of pushed this one over the edge. Don't get me wrong though, this is a solid Doom mod. Now the story, you know, to be fair, there's not much of a storyline here, but it's just great to see Quake 2 running in the Doom engine. Like I said, they've done a really fantastic job. Just looking at the weaponry here, you know, it's a real solid skin here. I mean, the weapons are animated. You've got the reloading animations and the shooting animations that were used in Quake 2. Yeah, they are present here, along with the correct sound effects for each weapon. And the cool thing is, it does seem to feature most of the weaponry from the Quake 2 game. In fact, obviously you've got the, let's call it a kind of phaser rifle, I don't know what you really call it, maybe a plasma rifle, or plasma pistol I should say, the super shotgun, standard shotgun, and the chain gun. They all feature in this version, and many different enemies from the Quake 2 game. Now we're talking basically all of them, including the Enforcer, Berserker, and many more. So this really is, like I said, a decent Doom mod, but one they've actually paid attention to the actual source material. Yeah, you can kind of tell this is still a Doom mod, but a really interesting one. Like I said, half the time, they don't massively put a whole lot of time into looking at the original source material they have here, and you can see this is basically, this is Quake 2 in the Doom universe. Like I said, the sound is a bit of a downer on this because it is just the Doom music, but hey, it does work with this mod. It kind of actually, to be fair, enhances it a little. I mean, like I said, Quake 2 soundtrack would have been great, but that was kind of just on a wish list. Controls work absolutely fine. You use the analog stick here, your shoulder buttons, and obviously your face buttons as well. And it's very serviceable. You can use the D-pad as well, or well, you use the D-pad to change the weaponry, but obviously the analog stick here works really seamlessly, as you can see, and it just works. This is great news all around. Now there are quite a few levels here, so this isn't a quick affair. This is one you can kind of, you know, sink your teeth in for a few hours, because, you know, let's face it, who doesn't want to be playing Quake 2 in the Doom universe? So this has been Al from Games Re-Up. I hope you've liked this nice little look at the Quake 2 Doom mod, playing on the Sega Dreamcast, by the way, the best console of them all. What I'd like to see is if you put a nice little comment below this video if you'd like to see some more Doom mods explained and shown.
on the Sega Dreamcast, because I've got a pile more. Also, if there's something you want me to check out working on the Sega Dreamcast, hit me up with a nice little comment and I'll check it out. Like, comment and subscribe. I'll see you soon.